Swadika, thank you for joining us on Newsline. We are broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and on NBT World. It's Friday, May the 20th, and you're with me, Thratira Kalsan. And welcome to today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has invited Russia to invest in Thailand during the ASEAN-Russia Commemorative Summit in St. Petersburg. General Prayut, who presided over the opening ceremony of Thailand-Russia Business Dialogue, assured Russian businessmen on the viability of 10 new industries in Thailand, including biotechnology, nanotechnology, aircraft manufacturing, and digital industry. Russian Minister of Industry and Trade Denis Maturov also participated in the dialogue. Both sides agreed to raise Thai-Russian trade value by 5 times to $10 billion over the next 5 years. The trade value between the two countries currently stands at $2.3 billion. The Thai government has planned to persuade Russian investors to take part in its infrastructure development projects as part of the National Strategic Development Plan for the next 20 years. General Prayut took the opportunity to voice his appreciation for the long-standing ties between Thailand and Russia. The two nations will mark the 120th anniversary of diplomatic ties in 2017. Afterwards, General Prayut had a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev. Both sides agreed to promote a new dimension of comprehensive cooperation and prepare to celebrate their 120th anniversary of diplomatic relations in 2017. The summit in Sochi is the third meeting between Russia and representatives of ASEAN member states. The previous two were held in 2005 and 2010 in Kuala Lumpur and Hanoi, respectively. The Prime Minister has asked politicians who were given the opportunities to speak on the draft constitution to give candid views but not to confuse the public. In a message relayed from Russia, where the Premier is currently on an official visit, Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha affirmed that the government has allowed for all political groups and politicians to voice their opinions on the draft charter. He stated all who speak on the document will be allowed to give their genuine impressions as well as their views on related issues such as political conflicts and cases. The Prime Minister said that this opportunity to hear from various politicians is so that all stances can be considered. However, he asked that those speaking be considerate of the needs of the nation's majority and not seek to confuse the public. He said that all speakers should be candid so as to allow the public to make their own decisions. The chairman of the Constitution Drafting Commission, or CDC, is worried about attempts to distort the details of the draft charter and hopes volunteers will do their job well. The CDC on Thursday completed its training of provincial volunteers who will join in the trips to explain key information of the draft constitution to people across the country before the public referendum takes place on August 7th. CDC spokesman Chachai Nachingmai said that all volunteers should help disseminate information and provide accurate answers to any queries regarding the draft charter to district and community level volunteers, while not hesitating to confirm with the charter drafters when in doubt. Dr. Chachai said that by doing so, the people will ultimately obtain accurate information about the draft charter. He noted that all volunteers will need to perform their duties by complying with the Public Referendum Act. Meanwhile, CDC Chairman Michai Ruchapan told volunteers that they should never try to manipulate the opinions of the people, who must be left to use their own discretion in casting votes. He also expressed concerns about the group's attempt to distort the content and intent of the draft charter and said that those people should never be allowed back into the government. The Ministry of Energy has acknowledged that underdeveloped logistics solutions combined with volatility in global fuel prices have impacted capital costs for business operators and affirmed that it is working to reduce prices. At a seminar to showcase a new energy management system for logistics, Energy Minister General Anantaporn Kanchanarat stated in a speech entitled Energy Conservation to Strengthen Type Transport that the logistics sector of the nation accounts for 36.8% of the nation's energy usage. He admitted that due to railways and other forms of transport being underdeveloped, operators have had to contend with heightened costs and a lack of competitiveness in terms of goods transport. The minister assured that his ministry is working to reduce logistics costs and is drafting a long-term energy reform plan to optimize and reduce energy usage. The goal is to bring logistics energy consumption down to 30% of the nation's total by 2036. The ministry is also working to achieve the objectives of the 20-year fuel plan, which includes development of fuel pipelines, reduction of the use of benzene and gasohol, and an increase in the efficacy of biodiesel. The ministry will also use more systematically managed transport vehicles to ensure the most efficient use of fuel. The Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, or ICT, will organize Digital Thailand 2016 next week in accordance with the government's digital economy policy. According to ICT Minister Uttama Sawanayon, the international fair will feature exhibitions from various agencies from the communications, education, monetary, banking, and government sectors. He said that the event would demonstrate Thailand's capacity in implementing digital technology in these sectors. Participants would be introduced to new digital innovations for medical purposes, learning, and agriculture, to name a few. The Digital Thailand 2016 will be held from May 26 until the 28th at the Sirikit National Convention Center in Bangkok. The Ministry of Education has instructed all vocational schools to adopt concrete measures to end student brawls while threatening to shut down any institute that fails to do so. Education Minister General Dapong Ratanasuwan convened a meeting with administrators of both public and private vocational schools within Bangkok and its vicinity in a bid to hear their approaches to prevent student violence. The minister called on schools to arrange an attitude adjustment camp for delinquent students and conduct follow-up assessments. In the meantime, the schools were also assigned to coordinate with security units in monitoring the movement of alumni who have records of violence in order to ensure they do not attempt to influence violent behavior among current students. The schools must also adopt measures against student gambling. If any vocational school is found to be incapable of handling the problem of student violence, General Dapong said that they might have to be closed down. As for customs of initiating new students, he admitted there are no rules that prevent these practices. However, he warned that action will be taken against the school's executives if any violence results from these initiations. The Office of the National Research Council of Thailand, or NRCT, is improving its access to the online National Central Archive in a bid to improve research quality throughout the country. Sukanya Thirakunlud, Secretary General of the NRCT, said the Council has signed a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, with the Department of Provincial Administration. The agreement was related to the access of census records and personal identity records from an online National Central Archive.
The National Research Council of Thailand has developed the National Research Management System, or NRMS, as an IT platform for managing research budget and work. The key users of the platform are researchers nationwide.
Moved to create an electronic link between the Central Archive and the NRMS. The linkage will facilitate the Council's process of ID verification and checking the latest status of researchers. The initiative is a collaboration between the NRCT, the Department of Provincial Administration, Department of the Central Interior, Thailand Research Fund, Office of the Higher Education Commission, and the National Science and Technology Development Agency. The Public Relations Department, or PRD, has joined in a week of Buddhist activities. Meanwhile, a religious ceremony has been held nationwide to mark Vesak Day. PRD Deputy Director General Dr. Jarun Chaisorn led PRD staff to take part in a merit-making and almsgiving ceremony ahead of Vesak Day, which is known as Visakha Bucha Day in Thailand. The activities were part of ongoing PRD efforts to foster morality and ethics. The ceremony coincided with Surin provincial officials holding an almsgiving event for 200 monks and novices as part of a Buddhism week being held in the province to lead up to Visakha Bucha Day. The week included sermons by revered monks and merit-making ceremonies. Other preparations for the religious holiday included farmers in Bungkan province collecting lotus flowers, which will be in high demand on the day. During Visakha Bucha Day, the farmers believe they will be able to sell 1,000 to 2,000 lotus flowers. The Vice Rector for Academic Affairs at Chulalongkorn Ratchavidyalaya University has suggested the use of Buddhist Dharma in solving today's problems. The university held its second seminar on the topic Buddhist Path to World Peace in order to exchange views on how to resolve conflict peacefully using Buddhist teachings. The seminar was attended by over 20 experts from Thailand and abroad. Vice Rector for Academic Affairs Prasikam Pirayan said many problems today stem from the lack of ethical principles, while the solution lies while instilling all with compassion. Meanwhile, Buddhist Dharma can provide solutions to a fast-growing economy that impacts society and the environment. For those who appreciate high-end cuisine, Prakonchai district of Buriram province is introducing a long-hidden gem, a product called volcanic jasmine rice, a specialty rice only available in the area. Our correspondent Kun Panot Sinsap has the report.
At first glance, it may look like ordinary Thai rice, but this tempting new strain is produced in the ash-rich and ancient soil of an extinct volcano in Isan, a land that is considered some of the richest and most fertile in all of Thailand. There are 3 varieties grown: white, brown, and berry, and with such fertile soil, production output per rye from the area ranges from 800 kilograms to a ton of rice per rye in each harvest, while other areas of the country are able to produce an average 700 kilograms per rye per harvest. The rice produced here is also known for its enticing fragrance and a delicious flavor that is unique when compared to rice grown elsewhere.
Our soil is a little bit different than other places, which was formed from lava from volcanoes. In Buriram, there were 6 volcanoes, all already extinct, and the minerals left over from the cooled magma a long time ago still rest in the area, making soil here very rich. You can grow anything here, and it will come out fruitful. Our rice tastes really good, very nutritious, and has a wonderful smell that lasts even if you leave it outside of a container.
This unique rice has prompted interest from many sectors to come and study the plantation. The Department of Foreign Trade has a policy to support specialty rice, so there is real hope that this strategy for producing rice in smaller quantities but of maximum quality will result in growing interest in the plantation and well-deserved success for its specialty product.
We are now trying to select the community in every part of Thailand that they can produce the good grade of rice, the differentiate. Thailand is not the lowest cost of country right now, so we have many competitors. So we try to select the new way of growing commodities to be the better quality, to go to the niche market.
Although it has yet to receive any outside promotion, the community is selling roughly 700 kilograms of volcanic jasmine rice a month, for a total of only 35,000 baht income for the community. But the village head is planning also to process the rice into noodles and other snacks to increase sales while also expanding market distribution. Now, with support from the Department of Foreign Trade in marketing the distinctive rice, it will raise the value of Thai specialty rice in international markets, improve the well-being of farmers, as well as provide Thai citizens with a high-grade rice for enjoyable consumption. Panos Sinsap, NBT World.
And that was in Prakonchai of Buriram province. And before we take a quick break, let's take a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
If the earth is your home, the ocean is theirs as well. Working together, the government and private sector can solve all the issues currently facing the Thai fishing industry. From legitimizing fishing operations to helping out our fellow fishermen and collaborating with international parties.
Now ตอนนี้ถึงเวลาแล้วนะครับที่เราจะต้องมาร่วมมือกันทำให้มันถูกต้องมันก็ต้องปรับตัวในช่วงแรกแต่ในระยะยาวมันก็คุ้มค่าถ้าไม่มีอาชีพนี้เราก็ไม่รู้จะทำอะไรกันแล้วผมก็พร้อมครับที่จะเป็นส่วนหนึ่งในการแก้ปัญหา
Pad Thai, created from Thai wisdom, used to be served on banana leaf, and the banana tree is used for practicing Muay Thai. Muay Thai was trained in the temples, which can be found on the mountains, in the caves, or on the water, everywhere, just like Pad Thai. There are thousands of other stories to discover. Discover your amazing stories in amazing Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. The opening of the ASEAN Economic Community has provided a boost for border trade between Thailand and Laos in Nong Khai province, with petroleum exports generating the most income for the country. Director of the Nong Khai Office of Commerce, Chonticha Ladawan, reported that the value of Thai-Lao border trade in the province during the first quarter of this year stood at about 15 billion baht. The figure represents a year-on-year increase of more than 1 billion baht, or approximately 6.95%. The top three export products from Thailand during the period were petroleum, four-wheel drive passenger cars, and beverages. Meanwhile, the top imports from Laos were pickup trucks, car wires and cables, and shoe components. The commerce official expected to see further growth in border trade between the two neighbors in the remaining quarters of the year. Laos is also expected to be in need of more construction materials from Thailand as the country continues its infrastructure development. And elsewhere around the world, Egypt's foreign ministry has confirmed to the Egyptian Civil Aviation Authority that wreckage of Egypt Air Flight MS-804 has been found near Greek island of Karpathos. The Egypt Air passenger jet, an Airbus A320, was traveling from Paris to Cairo at an altitude of 37,000 feet when it vanished from radar shortly after entering Egyptian airspace. Carrying 56 passengers, including one child and 2 infants and 10 crew members, the plane then plunged into the Mediterranean Sea. The wreckage included life jackets as well as blue and white debris was found at sea hours after the plane went missing. Egypt's Civil Aviation Minister Sherif Fathi earlier suggested that the cause of the devastating crash was could be terrorism rather than technical failure. Speaking at a press conference in Cairo, he described the possibility of a terror attack as higher than the possibility of a technical failure. An announcement from Egypt Air said the pilot had flown 6,275 hours and the co-pilot had done 2,766 hours. Manufactured in 2003, the Airbus plane was powered by International Aero engines and had about 48,000 flight hours. Argentina's opposition-controlled lower chamber of Congress passed a bill to prevent layoffs in the public and private sectors, challenging the center-right government's efforts to cut a gaping fiscal deficit and spur investment in the battered economy. President Mauricio Macri, who took power in December on a pro-business platform, has already said he would veto the bill, arguing it would block the government's efforts to revive the economy and ultimately boost employment. Legislator Hector Pedro Recalde from the Front for Victory, or FPV party, who is loyal to former President Cristina Fernandez, asked Macri not to veto the bill. The bill passed the lower chamber 147-3 with 88 abstentions. The Senate, where no party has a majority, has already passed the legislation. Macri has pushed through painful reforms since taking the reins of Latin America's third-largest economy, which is struggling with high inflation, a weak peso, and lack of foreign investment. Public sector unions have opposed his moves. The lower chamber discussed different versions of the bill, including plans to put a halt to private and public sector job cuts for 6 months and double redundancy payments for those workers that are laid off. As of mid-April, Macri's government had trimmed a total of 10,000 jobs from the public payroll, while the private sector has lost around 30,000 jobs and another 15,000 so-called informal jobs. Opposition lawmakers have warned that up to 150,000 jobs could be lost this year. United Nations Syria envoy Staffan de Mistura vowed to take the last resort option of airdrops of humanitarian aid if land access to besieged areas in Syria is not improved by June 1st. Without improved aid access and some restoration of Syria's tattered cessation of hostilities, the credibility of the next round of peace talks would be in question. The damage to the peace talks prompted the United States and Russia to convene the International Syria Support Group of major and regional powers on Tuesday, which toughened the truce terms and endorsed a stronger push for humanitarian aid. Due to a lack of access, the UN's World Food Program, or WFP, has made more than 30 airdrops of food and other supplies to the eastern town of Deir al-Azor, besieged by Islamic State, but that is the only location so far. De Mistura said he would not abandon the peace talks, but was waiting for the right date. He said he would not rule out overriding any Syrian government objections to airdrop. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Just simply type in NNT or check out our website at thainews.prd.go.th/en. We are going to say goodbye now with Leicester City in Thailand celebrating its first Premier League title. I'm Tra Thirakosan. Have a wonderful day. Sawasdee ka.